the most important thing is if you don't practice, you will not learn English. I always say that, okay, because this is very important. Okay, I want you guys to understand this, that if you don't practice, you will not improve. Okay, there is no shortcut. Okay, if you think like by using like a formula or something you will learn English. Okay, it is not possible, I tell you guys. Okay, if अगर आप लोगों ने बड़ा आदमी बनना है तो you have to work hard. There is only one way. Okay, and that is you need to work hard. Without putting effort, you can't achieve anything in your life. Don't think like without effort or hard work you can do something. Everything is possible with hard work or with efforts. Okay, and I want you guys, all of you guys are mashallah capable, and you should have uh, you should have like sort of like uh, experience all this, whatever is going on. You should have understood by now that how you should have move. Okay, otherwise it's difficult. If you after like in your graduation you have been doing this learnings, now almost I think majority of you are graduated already. Okay, or either doing graduation or you have already you are graduated. Okay, but the thing is, if you do not follow the right way, okay, you will not learn. Okay, therefore follow the way I'm telling you guys, follow that. Okay, in that what is our way is, I want you guys to uh, practice. Practice reading. First time when you read, first time focus on pronunciation. When you read second time, focus on vocabulary. When you read third time, focus on tenses. Okay, and the fourth time, you need to focus on content. Okay, content is extremely important. If you don't have a knowledge about something, you can't talk. Without knowledge, you can't talk. Okay, you need content. That is the important, for all of you guys. Okay. Okay. Yesterday we have done present perfect continuous tense. Okay. Today we are doing past perfect continuous tense. Okay. The difference between present perfect continuous tense and past perfect continuous tense. We will start this and you will definitely understand, inshallah. The village that had been waiting for rain. Okay. Uh, there was a village, you know, somewhere like in, I don't know which part of the world. Okay. And they had been waiting for rain. Okay. They had been waiting for rain. Okay. When we say had been waiting for rain, mean, that there was like in past they have started. Okay, and still like when we left it. Okay, they had been waiting. Okay, and then obviously, because if we say they have the village or that have waiting for rain. Okay, like let's say if we say the same thing, that the village that had been waiting. Okay, and if I replace this the village that have been waiting for the for rain. Okay, waiting for rain. Okay, now we have like two sentences. One is with the had been waiting. Okay, that means had been waiting. Okay, and this one is, and we have been waiting. Okay, we have like two, one is present perfect continuous, the other one is past perfect continuous. The first one is past and the second one is present. Okay, the second one is present perfect. Okay, the first one is present perfect continuous. The second one is, sorry, first one is past perfect and the second one is present perfect continuous. Okay, and okay, now important thing is, here we have, okay, now here we have the village that had been waiting for rain. Okay, therefore there was a village, okay, somewhere, and uh, they were like, they had they never had rain. Okay, they never had in past, they never had rain. Okay, but what happened, they had been waiting for the rain. Okay, but what we understood, that we don't know whether they had rain or not. We don't know about that. Okay, but we know that in past, okay, they had been waiting for the rain. We don't know about, we don't have a knowledge about it. Okay, that they had rain or not. Okay, but in the next sentence, they has that has been waiting for rain. Okay, and that means that has been waiting for rain is that in this, in the present perfect continuous, that means there was they were waiting for the rain in past. Okay, they are waiting for the rain now in present, and they will be waiting for the rain in future as well. Okay, therefore the village that we are talking about, the village has been, with the village where we have used has been waiting. Okay, that shows like that still we are waiting. We have been waiting for the rain. Okay, that in the past there was no rain. In the present, we don't have any rain, and still in future, we have been waiting for the rain. Okay, but in that one, in the first sentence, we are not in present, we are not waiting for the rain anymore. Okay, therefore, in the first sentence, this sentence that we had, okay, in front of us, the village that had been waiting for rain. Okay, in that sentence, we at present, we don't have any connection with this. We are talking about completely past. Someone started waiting, and then when it stopped, we don't know whether they had rain. We don't know whether they didn't have rain. We don't know. Okay, therefore this is something like you need to understand that. We will read, and you will definitely understand, inshallah. For years, the small village of Dharmapur had been suffering from a terrible drought. Okay, drought is when there is no rain. Okay, drought is when there is no rain. Drought means when there is no rain. Okay, and terrible is something like bad, very bad. Okay, terrible is something extremely bad. Terrible means something extremely bad. For years, the small village of Dharmapur had been suffering from a terrible drought. Okay, they had been experiencing. Okay, they had been experiencing a terrible drought, a terrible drought. Okay, therefore, this village Dharmapur had been experiencing. We can say experiencing as well, or we can say suffering. Okay, we can say, when we say suffering, we always use from. Okay, whenever we use suffering, we always use from as a preposition. Okay, but we can say as well experiencing a terrible drought. We don't need for. Okay, but we just, whenever we use suffering, I am suffering from fever. I am suffering from whatever the disease. Therefore, temperature or whatever you would say, you can say I am suffering from something. Okay, and then we can, instead of suffering, we can use experiencing a terrible drought as well. Okay, we can use experiences as well. The village had been waiting for the rain to come, but the village had been waiting for the rain to come, but seasons after seasons, the skies remained clear. Okay. Therefore, village had been waiting for the rain to come. Okay, they had been waiting. That in the past they were waiting, and then when we last time we when I was when when we learn about them. Okay, when we came to know about them, they had been waiting. Okay, we noticed that they had been waiting. We didn't receive any news, or we didn't hear from them that there had been any rain. Okay, therefore we didn't hear from them. Okay, the villager had been waiting for the rain to come. Okay, there was like the last time when we visited this place, villagers had been waiting for the rain. Okay, but season after season, the sky remained clear. Okay, therefore now this is a, you guys can use, this is a simple past tense. Okay, sky remained clear is a simple past tense, okay? And but this one is the one we have used here. The village had been waiting is like a past perfect, okay? Past perfect continuous tense, okay? For the village to come, but season after season, the sky remained clear, okay? This one is, we have all these sentences are, this is present perfect continuous, but here we have again, we have Dharma had been, this is like again, we have past, we have past perfect continuous. Okay. Past perfect continuous tense, okay? And this is, here we had season after season, sky remained clear, okay? Then this is past perfect as well. This is past tense. This is past perfect, okay? Past indefinite. Okay, this is past indefinite tense. This is past indefinite tense, okay? But season after season, the sky remained clear. Farmer, past perfect uses, that's what we are, that's we use use something that happened in the past, okay? That started, something like that happened in the past, okay? That's something like ongoing in the past, okay? That's not something like, something ongoing in the past. Okay. Now the difference, that's why I try to explain you the difference between present perfect continuous and past perfect continuous is when we say present perfect continuous, that is still ongoing. The thing that started, the action started in the past, okay, it is going on in the present as well, and it will be going on in the future, okay, when we say present perfect continuous. But when we say past perfect continuous, it started in the past, okay, and it is finished somewhere. It started in the past, okay, but it is we up till our, the last time when we spoke to them, okay, or when we heard back from those people, we found out that action has, it is complete. It is just that's what we heard of, that, like, let's say I gave you the example of farmer had been planting uh, for years the small village, okay, for years the small village of Dharmapur had been experiencing or suffering from a terrible drought. Okay. Now had been suffering mean that when the last time when we heard from them, okay, there was a problem going on. They were experiencing drought. Okay. We don't know about now. In present, we don't know about that because we never heard back from them. The village had been waiting for the rain to come, but season after season the sky remained clear. Okay, after season, sky remained clear. They had been waiting for the rain to come. Farmers had been planting seeds in hope, but nothing grew. Okay, because when there is no water, then nothing. You can't get like a water is important to grow. If you want to grow in the field, you need water. If you don't water the plant, they will not grow. The villagers had been waiting for the rain to come, but season after season, the sky remained clear. Farmers had been planting seeds. Okay, you plant seed. Okay, or you plant. You can uh, uh, plant seed. Okay, plant seeds in hope, but nothing grew. Okay, nothing grew. Nothing like grow. Second form of grow, grew, grown. Okay, second form of grow is we have uh, grow, grow, grew, and grown. Okay, grow, grew, and grown. First, second form of verb. Okay, this is first, second form of verb. Farmers had been planting seeds in hope, but nothing grew. They had the land was dry. The land was dry, and the rivers had nearly disappeared. Okay, because of there was no rain, land. What happened? Land was dry. Okay, and the river had nearly disappeared. Okay, the river, because there is no rain and there is no rainwater, or there is no like rain. Therefore, the rivers had nearly disappeared. Okay, now here had disappeared is a we have had disappear is our this had disappeared is we call this uh, past perfect. Okay, here we have past, we have past, past perfect tense. Okay, this is past perfect tense. And the river had nearly disappeared by the time help arrived. Okay, by the time help arrived, people had been struggling for survival for a long time. Okay, by the time that they got by the time help arrived, okay, that someone came to help them, okay, or a government, you know government came there to, when the government found out that there was a drought. Okay, therefore they found out, you know that these people had been struggling for survival for a long time. Okay, they had been struggling for survival. Okay, that means this had been again is we have here had been is this is used our, we can understand that this is a uh, past perfect tense. Okay, we have had, and then we had been planting, past perfect. Okay, and then we had here had been waiting, past perfect. Okay, past perfect continuous. Okay, had been, this has been is present perfect because it is has. Okay, but here we have had been experiencing, this is past perfect. You know, the reason behind is, we have, okay, let's take the example here in front of us. Okay, we have here, we have here, look, the thing is, we have past simple and past perfect and past continuous. Okay, this is three tenses we have. Okay, let me show you guys. Okay, and let me clear all these things. Clear all right. Okay, now important thing is you need to understand something important. Okay, that is that we have three tenses. Okay, we have past perfect, and we can take here as past perfect. Okay. Okay, now we have three, different past indefinite, past perfect, and then we have like a past indefinite, and we have another past continuous. Okay, we have past indefinite, okay, past perfect, sorry, past indefinite, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. Okay, like four tenses we have, like, like why we use these tenses? Because we want to express, our action. Okay, something is going on in past indefinite. We just want to show something happened in past. We show that it is past indefinite. Okay, something is ongoing in the past. Okay, we show that it is using like past indefinite. For example, I can take the example in front of you guys here. Okay, past indefinite. We went to visit. We went to visit northern area. Okay, we went to visit northern areas. We went to visit the northern areas. Okay. This is like past tense. The action has completed. Okay. We went to visit. We went to visit the northern areas yesterday. Or we went to visit the northern areas last year. Okay. We went to visit the northern areas last year. Okay. Now we have in present indefinite, we went to visit in the northern areas. Okay. And then we say in in continuous, what we're going to do, we we were going to visit, we were going to visit, or we went to, or we can say, we will say here, we went to visit, or instead of that, we can say we visited the northern areas last year. Okay, we visited the northern areas last year. Okay, and then we can say we were visiting the northern areas last year. Okay, now this one, we were visiting the northern areas last year. Okay, therefore, and then third one is we had. Okay, the third one is we had visited the northern area. We had visited the northern areas last year. Okay, we had visited the northern areas. We had visited the northern areas. Past perfect. Okay, and then we can say, and the fourth one we we had been visiting the northern areas. Visiting the northern areas. Okay, we had been visited the for for last year, for last year. Okay, now we have here, what we had. Okay, we have like four tenses. We have past indefinite tense. We visited the northern areas last year. Okay, we visited last year, and that's it. There is no anything with that. Okay, but we visited this place. We went there. Okay, we traveled there, and after that, that's it really. Okay, this is past indefinite. Okay, that is gone. It is like it is now past. It is no more present. Okay, now past continuous. We were visiting the northern areas last year. Okay, that means this was it was like a continuous, it was in the past, but it was ongoing. Okay, it was not, it was past as well, but it was ongoing. Okay, this incident was ongoing in the past. Okay, this incident has completed. This incident completed. Okay, this incident is completed. This is instance is the first one is completed, done. Okay. And then second incident, this incident is, this incident is ongoing in the past. Okay. Ongoing in the past. Okay? This is ongoing in the past. Okay. And third one is we had visited the northern areas last year. That is, or we can say we had okay, we had visited the northern areas. Okay. Okay, now in this one, okay, now what's going on here? Okay, past continuous is ongoing. Okay, now what happened? We had left the Murray, okay, past perfect. We had left for Murray when they visited the northern areas the previous year. Okay, now what happened? Basically, this there are two actions here. Okay, this action, okay, there is two action here in the sentence. Okay, this is first action. This is first action, and this is second action. Okay, there are two actions going on. Okay, therefore, what happened? This action happened. This action happened. The one with the had one. Okay, had and third form of verb. This action happened. What happened? This action happened. In front of us. Okay, this action happened first. Okay, this action happened first. Remember that. This is first action. Okay, this is the first action. This is the first action. And then we have this action. This is the second action. This is the second action. That is why we are using past perfect. Okay, that is the reason we are using past perfect, because the first action happened, first action happened before the second action. Okay, यानी कि ये जो इंसिडेंट मरी वाला है ना, ये पहले हुआ है इस इंसिडेंट से. Okay, that is why we are using perfect tense. Okay, therefore we had left for Murray, when they visited the northern areas. When they reached there, when they visited there, before that we left. Okay, we had left for Murray before they, or when, or before, or we can say like, or before they visited we can say we had left for Murray before they visited. Okay, like before. But most important thing you need to understand that we had the first sentence is first action is before that. Both actions are in the past. Okay, एक अभी का past है, एक उससे भी पीछे का past है. Okay, one is now and one is before that. Okay, therefore hopefully you guys understand. And then the third one is, if you read the third one, fourth one. Okay, the fourth one is, if you read about the fourth one, okay, before they visited, okay, I would say here before. It is more appropriate to say before. Okay, before we had left for Murray, before they visited the northern areas. Okay, the previous year. Okay, now past perfect continuous. We had been visiting the northern areas for last year. Okay, that is not just once or it's not twice, but we had been visiting there. Okay, last year we don't know when they started visiting. Okay, but till the last year, I found out that they had been visiting the northern areas. Okay, therefore the difference between uh, present, past indefinite, and then so the difference between past indefinite is like, past, it is gone. Just once it's done, the action is done, it is just once. Okay, this is just that's why we call past indefinite. Okay, when we say past continuous means ongoing. Okay, it is like ongoing. Okay, like it is when we heard about that, it was happening at that time. Okay, third when we use past perfect is that we talk about two incident, two past, okay, and then we found out कि जो एक जो इंसिडेंट है जिसे हम पास्ट परफेक्ट यूज करते हैं, इट हैपन बिफोर आवर second incident. Okay, जो अभी like whatever we had before we can I can give you an example. Yesterday that we had completed past perfect continuous. Okay, we had finished past perfect continuous present, uh, before starting, sorry, we have completed present perfect continuous, okay, before starting past perfect continuous. Okay, so we can say that we we had completed past perfect, sorry, we had completed yesterday we have completed present perfect continuous continuous. Okay, we had completed the present perfect continuous before before starting or before started past perfect continuous. Okay, now here we can say that now there are two incident, two actions here. Okay, yesterday, now the action happened yesterday. What we done yesterday? We had completed the past perfect continuous. Okay, before we started the past. Okay, perfect continuous. Okay, therefore present perfect, we had completed the present perfect continuous before we started the past perfect continuous. Okay, therefore we had two action. Okay, the first action is this is our first action, completed the past perfect continuous. This is our first present perfect continuous. This is our first action, okay? But the second action is we started the past perfect continuous, okay? Therefore, for past perfect, we always use, when we have like whatever the action I have now, okay, whatever action we had done in past, for that, we always use past perfect continuous. Okay? And then if something is ongoing in the past and when you left it, it is ongoing, that means we use for that we had been visiting the northern areas for last year. We don't know how many times they visited northern areas, but definitely they visited northern areas more than once. When we say we had been visiting the northern areas for last year, that means they had been, visiting, or for the or visiting the northern areas for the last year or last year. Okay, let's read it and then definitely you will understand. It is little bit like grammar is little logic. You need to have like your brain should understand, and you will only understand when you go through these stuff. Because if you don't practice that, you will not. It is like a little theoretical. It's more abstract. Okay, it's not abstract as well. It's like more like I gave examples as well. I'm sure you should understand. But if you don't understand, ask me please. By the time help arrived, by the time help arrived, by the time help arrived, the people had been struggling for survival for a long time. Now you can understand that the thing I'm trying to explain you should understand that that when help arrived actually, okay, when help arrived, help arrived after that. Okay, after their struggle. Okay, that is why we are using had been struggling. Okay, therefore, that is why we are using had been struggling. Okay, therefore, here we have, past perfect. There, the first incident, this is past perfect. Okay, this is our past perfect. Helped, arrived. Okay, this is a past perfect. Past indefinite. Past indefinite. This is past indefinite. Okay, this is our past indefinite. Okay, this is past indefinite. Okay, help arrived, past indefinite. And now here we have here past perfect continuous. Okay, past perfect past perfect continuous. Okay, we had past perfect continuous. Okay, and those people, they don't understand. Okay, we have an example here. The river, the land was dry and the river had nearly disappeared. Okay, the river had nearly disappeared. Okay, this is again past. This is again we have past perfect. Okay, here we have past perfect. Okay, therefore had, okay, nearly and disappeared. Okay, therefore this is, the land was dry and the river had nearly disappeared. Okay, therefore again we can notice that this had nearly disappeared is that before, they have been waiting after, even after, after the incident happened, after this river disappeared. Okay, still they have been struggling, still they have been waiting for the rain. Okay, hope you will understand that. Therefore this is past indefinite. Okay, this is our past perfect. Here we had disappeared is past perfect. This is past perfect. Perfect. Okay. We have this is past perfect. Disappeared. But when you read, definitely you will understand that. That's not I don't see any problem with this, but if the more you practice, that is why I want you guys to read. If you read, it is not rocket science. You will understand that. Before the drought, okay, before this dry season, before the start of before the start of dry season, or before the drought, village had been thriving. Okay, the village had been thriving, had been progressing. Okay, the last time when people saw this, okay, they noticed that the village had been thriving. It had been progressing. Okay, people people had been growing crops, raising animal, and leading peaceful lives. Okay, therefore, the last time when they found out that people had been growing crops, okay, raising animal, they are like breeding animal, they are rearing animal and leading peaceful lives. Okay, and they live peacefully. Okay, but once the rain stopped, okay, again, we have the rain stop, everything change. Okay. Once the rain stop, everything change. Once the rain stop, everything change. Animal had been dying. Okay. Therefore, we can notice that had been dying. Okay. Therefore, animal, once the rain stopped, everything changed. Okay. The animal had been dying. The the crops had been failing, okay, because there is no rain. Therefore, you can't have crops, okay. Therefore, the animal had been dying. The crops like these wheat crops, ये गंदुम की जो फसल होती है, or you know wheat or corn or anything like whatever the crops you have, like we call this crop, okay. The animal had been dying, the crops had been failing, and the children had been getting sick from drinking unclean water. Okay, with rain has like a therapeutic ability. Rain has like a ability to heal others. Okay, rain has ability to clean water. Rain is something like a miraculous powers. It carries miraculous power with itself. Okay, therefore the animal had been dying, crops had been failing, children had been getting sick, the villagers had been walking miles just to find a few bucket of water. Okay, they had been walking miles just to find a few buckets of water. Every drop was precious, and every day it's not precious. Okay, many people say precious. It is not precious, it's precious. Okay, every drop was precious, and every day felt like a battle. Okay, every day is like you are struggling, you are fighting. A battle is like it's like small, like when there are two tribes, they fight, we call this battle. When it's a huge war between many countries, then it is war. Okay, every drop was precious, and every day felt like a battle. Okay, it was like full of struggle. Battle is full of struggle. Okay, every drops was precious, and every day felt like a battle. The village, I will explain that. I will explain that later on. Okay, the village leader, an old man named Ravi, had been trying to contact the government for support. Okay, the village leaders, an old man, the village leaders, an old man The village leaders, an old man named Ravi, had been trying to had been trying to contact the government for support. He had been writing letters. He had been writing letters, visiting nearby town, and speaking to anyone who would listen. Okay, he was like arranging, he was meeting people, he was like telling people about the situation, bringing their attention to whatever is going on in their town, in their village. Unfortunately, no one responded immediately. Okay, now again you can understand that unfortunately no one responded immediately. Okay, therefore, for a present that happened, for the past that happened before the incidents, okay, he used past indefinite tense. Okay, here he used past indefinite tense, but here he used, if you guys notice that, here he used past perfect continuous tense. Okay, therefore this incident is ongoing. Okay, this incident is ongoing. The incident that we have here is ongoing. Okay, this incident we have used had been. Okay, here we had used had been. Okay, here we had used had been. Okay, but here we used only responded no one responded immediately. Here in this sentence we used no one immediately. Okay, no one responded immediately. Therefore, this past happened. This was ongoing. Okay, this was old past. This is an old incident, okay? Old incident, okay? And this one is, as compared to that, this was a new incident, okay? This was new incident, new incident, new incident. Okay, this happened because this happened before that. This happened before that. This is a, like, new incident, new, new incident, okay? Now that's why we have used here in this one, we have used here past. If you notice that we have used here past perfect continuous and here past perfect continuous because these incident happen before that. Okay. These incident happen before that. Okay. And then here we used present, sorry, past indefinite. Okay. Here we use past indefinite. Okay. By the time aid finally arrived, past but not in present, up till now but not in present. Because if we use up till now, that is like a present continuous. Okay, that means that is like a, it's a present continuous. Okay, but if up till now, we can't say up till now. Okay. Ravi had been pleading for almost a year. Pleading is requesting people. Okay. By the time aid finally arrived, by the time they receive aid, okay, finally arrived, Ravi had been pleading for almost a year. He had been pleading mean requesting them. Pleading mean when you request, when you beseech someone, when you just when you just bow down someone and just requesting them again and again. This is called pleading. Ravi had been pleading for almost a year. Meanwhile, the young people of the village had been looking for new ways to help. Okay. Therefore, meanwhile, the young people of the village had been looking new ways for new ways to help. Okay. Some had been building water collection. Okay. Instead of sitting idle doing nothing, they started building like a they started digging holes. Okay. Big, big like holes. Okay. So that to collect the water. If there is rain, they can collect the water. Okay. Therefore, they had been building water collection system, okay, using old barrel. Okay, old barrels are like drums, using old barrels and rooftops. Okay, therefore they started building like a water collection system. Okay, where on the rooftop or using old barrels, to collect water. Other had been teaching children how to stay safe and healthy during the drought. Okay, therefore uh, they were not like uh, sitting idle or or like crying or like or willing to they're willing to accept death, okay, or waiting for their death, that because they had a drought and then they had been you know waiting to die. Okay, no, they were not. Okay, what they done, they started had been teaching children. Okay, they they creating, they are making like children aware, you know what is the benefit, how they can survive during the drought. Okay, they started creating awareness, you know among the children, that how they survive or stay healthy or stay safe during the drought. Okay, the school had been functioning only part time. Okay, they opened school, didn't shut down the school like Pakistan, completely shut down the school and everything because now we have a problem. Completely shut down the, no, they didn't do that. They opened school part time. Okay, the school had been functioning only part time. Okay. As the teacher had been focusing, as the teacher had been again, teacher had been, as the teacher had been focusing on helping families survive. One young woman, Asha, who had returned. Now this, look at this example of here, like we have who had returned. Okay. This is past perfect tense. Okay. Who had been, who had returned from studying in the city, had been working on a plan to bring sustainable solution to the village. Okay. Now, who had returned from studying in the village. Okay. Therefore, before this incident, she she came from, she returned from, she had returned from a city. Okay, from studying in a city. Okay, therefore this incident happened before that incident. That is why we use past perfect tense here. Okay, and here we are using past perfect continuous, because it is at that time in past it was ongoing. Okay, it was in the past that time, and it was ongoing at that time as well. Okay, on a plan to bring sustainable solution to the village. Okay, sustainable solution is environment friendly. Okay, if you, anything you do sustainable, that means that is environment friendly. Okay, that is helping environment. Okay, it's not like something something like polluting the environment. It's not like that. She had been researching solar powered. Okay, she had been researching. Okay, she had been researching solar power pumps and rainwater harvesting systems. Okay, solar power, guys, very well what is solar power. Okay, rainwater harvesting system, that in some you know drought stricken areas we always farmer only use rainwater to grow. Okay, therefore they just plan in a way that that they were expecting, they just they plant seeds and then rain comes. Okay, therefore during those areas they plan accordingly. She had been researching solar powered pump and rainwater harvesting system with the help of a few friends. She had been gathering, she had been gathering donation. Okay. She had been gathering donation and resources. Okay. By the time her project began to take shape, she had been planning. Okay. And then we had here past, this is she had been planning. Okay. Now in Urdu में ये मसला है कि जो past perfect continuous है, ये past में start हुआ था and it was ongoing in the past. Okay. Not we don't know when it stopped. We don't know about that. But when we left, it was ongoing. ठीक है. When we we something started in the past, कोई चीज past में शुरू हुई है. ठीक है. लेकिन मैं कहता हूँ जी कि मैं I am, let's say, if I say, let's take another example. Okay, so make your life easy. Okay, let's finish this. By the time her project began to take shape, she had been planning it for. Okay, she had been planning it for. Uh, she had been planning. Okay, she had been gathering donation, that ongoing. Okay, and resources. By the time, okay, let me just do this for you guys. Began to take shape, she had been planning it for almost 2 years. Okay, she had been planning it for almost 2 years. Okay, now let's take another example. Okay, or let's go back and take another example. Let's go back to our that. Okay, okay, past indefinite. I taught. I I taught English. I taught English in Taught English in Lahore. Okay. I taught English in Lahore. Okay. I taught English in Lahore. Okay. Then another sentence we can say I was teaching English. I was teaching English in Lahore. Okay. I was teaching English in Lahore. We had left for Murray before they visited the northern areas. Okay. The previous year that we had left for Murray. Okay. When we we left the Murray, okay, when we left we had left for Murray, okay, that we just, we were heading towards Murray, okay, before they visited the northern areas, okay, that before they visited that, before that, we went to Murray, okay, like I'll give you another example here. Okay, I had taught the YouTube content creation course, okay, because I done it before, okay. Before this course, I was teaching YouTube content creation course, okay, before I had been teaching the WhatsApp English language course, okay. But because even I am teaching. Therefore, I can't say I had. I say I have been. Okay. Therefore, I have been teaching the WhatsApp English language course. Okay. Therefore, even I have been teaching I can say I have, even the whole context I can change. I have taught the YouTube content creation course before I have been teaching before I have been teaching the WhatsApp English language course. Okay. Therefore, this is something like, and when we say had here, and then we have to say had here as well. Okay. Then we have to change had here as well. Okay. But if I change here have, then I change here have. That means if I change here had, that means I'm not teaching anymore. That sentence means that I am not teaching anymore. Okay. It was in the past. Okay. In the past, I was teaching, but now I am not teaching. Okay. But when I say I have taught, and then I say I have been teaching. Okay, that means I'm still teaching now. I have been teaching mean I'm still ongoing. It is still the teaching is ongoing. Okay, अगर नहीं समझ आई तो फिर बताएं मुझे. Which sentence you want me to explain in Urdu? Can you talk? Can you talk? Which sentence you want me to say explain in Urdu? Yes. Which sentence you want me to say in Urdu? Please tell me. Meanwhile, the young people of the village had been looking for a. Can you just say some, I had taught, I had taught. I have taught the YouTube content creation course before I have been teaching that मैं अब इसको उर्दू में एक्सप्लेन करूंगा तो मतलब it might not make sense but it will make sense as well, why not. I have taught कि मैं पढ़ा चुका हूँ YouTube content creation course, मैं पहले I have been teaching before I have been teaching, no, I have taught, मैं पढ़ा चुका हूँ, okay, before I've been teaching the WhatsApp English language. Okay, now I have been teaching the WhatsApp. I would say I have taught the YouTube content creation course. I have taught the YouTube content creation course before I've been teaching, or we can say let me see, I don't know, just. Uh, I have been teaching the course. I have taught the YouTube one. No, that one is correct. Yeah, this is correct. I have taught the YouTube content creation course before I have been teaching. Yeah, exactly. At the moment, now I have been teaching this, but before that, I taught content creation course. Okay, इसका मतलब यह है कि मैं पहले जो था वो कंटेंट क्रिएशन कोर्स मैंने करवाया है। अब मैं इस वक्त जो है वो इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज का कोर्स करवा रहा हूँ। इस कोर्स से पहले आई हैव टॉट दैट कोर्स। ओके, इसका मतलब यह है कि इस कोर्स से पहले मैंने दूसरा कोर्स करवाया है। समझ नहीं ना आई कि आ गई है? अल्लाह खैर करे ना, बहुत शुक्रिया, आपको समझ आ गई है। भाई भी हो गया अब। Farmer had been planting seeds before the drought. The village had been thriving. The village leader, an old man, Ravi. Okay. Meanwhile, the young people of the village. Meanwhile, the young people of the village. Yeah, it is. It is confused. It is like a grammar is obviously when you read, you will understand. It is confusing. I understand that. You are quite. Yeah, it is correct now. Definitely. Okay. Meanwhile, the young people of the village had been looking for new ways to help. Okay. Young people had been looking for new ways to help. Okay. Had been looking for new ways to help. Okay. Had been. Okay. Some had been building water collection. Okay. We have read this. Some had been building water collection, rooftop, and okay, we have read this. Let's go and complete this before I. Okay, Asha, who had returned from studying in the city, had been working on a plan to bring sustainable solutions. Sustainable solution is environment-friendly solutions to the village. She had been researching solar-powered pump and rainwater harvesting system. Okay, she had been researching solar-powered pumps. Okay, that can be powered on solar energy, and rainwater harvesting systems. Okay. With the help of a few friends, she had been gathering donation and resources. Okay. With the help of few friends, she had been gathering donation and resources. By the time her project began to take shape, by the time her project began to take shape, she had been planning it for almost 2 years. Okay. So we have just Yeah, even in past perfect, it is completed in past, but it was ongoing. It was ongoing. Okay. The difference is it was ongoing. Okay. In the past, something was ongoing. If you do something once and something is going on for like 5 years, then you use past. If something in the past going on for 5 years, then you use past perfect continuous. Okay. But if you have done something just once, okay, then you use past indefinite. Okay. The surrounding, okay, surrounding is the neighboring, the nearby thing, surrounding nearby villages. Okay, surrounding is nearby. Villages had been facing similar challenges. Okay, surrounding nearby villages had been struggling with similar challenges. Okay, or facing similar challenges. And soon people from nearby areas had been coming to Dharmapur to learn from Asha's ideas. Okay, therefore, people from other villages, neighboring villages, or nearby villages, or surrounding. Okay, now we used surrounding here, we use surrounding here, we use neighboring, surrounding villages. Look at this, look at the use of languages. Okay, that we use surrounding village. Okay, surrounding villages. Then we use neighboring. Okay, neighboring areas. Okay, or we can use nearby areas, nearby villages, Okay, therefore you can all these three are same. You can replace and you can use them. And soon people from neighboring areas had been coming to Dharmapur to learn from Asha's ideas. Okay, they started coming to Dharmapur. By then, the entire community had been collaborating. Collaborating means when you're working together. Collaborate is when you are working together. It's like a group work. Okay, collaborating when you are, sharing information and building together something, that is collaboration. Or working on something together, that is collaboration or collaborating on solutions. Okay, by then, the entire community had been collaborating on solutions, and things slowly began to change. Okay, and with the time, things slowly began to change. Finally, one day the sky darkened. Okay, now one day the sky darkened. Okay, now we can't use the sky had been darkening. Okay, because we can't say like that, because it's like, let's say if it's 2 3 days it's been like that, then we can say the sky had been darkening. Okay, but no, it's not. Okay, but we have the sky darkened. Okay, and it happened the same time. Okay, and cloud formed above the village. Okay, therefore cloud formed above the village. The people gathered outside. Their eyes gathered mean when you are like, get together, or get like, many people in a same place, gather them, or ask them to come to a, same place. The people gather outside, their eyes filled with hope. They're like, they were optimistic, their eyes filled with hope. It began with a light drizzle. Drizzle is like small, like drizzling is like, you bunda bandi, something like, you feel like, you feel like rain is coming. Okay, but it's not like cats and dog. They say cats and dog is like a when there is a heavy rain. I think this is called cats and dog. It began with a light drizzle, then turned into steady rain. Okay, began like one or two like drops of rain, light drizzle, and then what happened began with then it turned into steady rain. Okay, then there was like it was not like a torrential rain. It was not too much rain, like you feel like, oh my God, it's like too much rain. But it was a steady rain. Okay, like a normal one, where you steady rain. It's like a something like average, not too heavy, not too slow, but it just, is like a steady rain. Everyone danced with joy. Everyone, they were happy with joy. Okay, they had been waiting for this moment. They had been, now you can understand that they had been waiting for this moment for years, and now it had come. Okay, therefore it had come now. Okay, it had come. Ground soaked up the ground soaked up the water, and the air smelled of wet earth, a scent they had been missing for far too long. Okay, therefore the ground soak up the water. Okay, they like this was it was thirsty like when you drink water. Okay, the soaked up water is like completely just drenched with water. Okay, soaked up water. Okay, like so when you drink water you feel like you are not thirsty anymore. Okay, similarly we can say like the ground soak up water of the water up the water, and the air smelled of wet earth. Okay, air gives us smell of damp or wet earth. A scent they had been missing for far too long. Okay, this smell, they were like the scent, when you have rain and when you feel, when you can smell that sort of like earth, or you can smell that sort of like freshness, or a like a aromatic smell. You get it from like from mud. Okay, when you when you see rain is coming and when you open the door and you can smell something fresh, something like different completely. It's like it's like a fragrance. The water and the air smelled of wet earth, a scent they had been missing for far too long. Okay, they had been missing for God knows for how long. Okay, in the end, even though the village had been suffering, okay, the village had been suffering. In the end, the village had been suffering. Okay, it also had been growing stronger. Okay, it people became stronger, when they had been suffering, when they had been going through uh, tough times. Okay, that times made them stronger. Okay, they become more resilient. They become stronger. The people had been learning resilience, power, their strength. Resilience is strength, unity, that how they survive together. So you don't think about, you don't become selfish, you think about everyone. Okay, unity. Okay, they become together, united, and innovation, and something like a new techniques, new like technologies. They think about different ways where they can survive in a tough weather. It had become the foundation of a better future. Okay, therefore in this way, it had become the foundation of a better future. Okay, therefore it had become, the whatever they gone through, it became like it's a sort of like a became the foundation, of a better future. Just it's like a strengthened their like resilience, their like they become more stronger. Okay, and they become more like expert, whatever, to survive in those conditions. Okay, and it is good for their future as well. Okay, that is the end of the text. Probably it's one of the difficult, I would say, that tense we have done so far. But when you read, when you practice, I mean, I'm sure you will understand. It's not something, but most important thing is it is started in the past and the incident was continue in the past as well. Okay, but we don't know when it's when it's it stopped. We don't know about that. Okay, therefore this is the reason we use past perfect. Okay, and that is if we knew that, it is completed, then we use past perfect. Okay, but if it is ongoing in present, then we use present perfect continuous. Okay, now this is something like you need to understand. Like even though the village had been suffering. Okay, and if we know that it is uh, or it has, or it also had been growing stronger. Okay, they the people had been learning resilience. Okay, and then let's say we can say they had been learning resilience, unity, and innovation. Okay, this is a sentence in front of us. Okay, let's say if we say this is now in this sentence is in past perfect, perfect. Okay, past perfect continuous. Okay, let's say if like say like say they if we use like they have been learning resilience, and then let's say if we use this as a, okay, let's do this. Okay, when we say, you know, that if it is action is ongoing, okay, but if say that if they have, we can say past perfect. Okay, we said they had, they had learned. Okay, they had learned resilience, unity, and innovation. Okay, and if we say something that is past perfect, okay, and if we say that it is in the past indefinite, if we say in past indefinite, then we will say past indefinite is, okay, past indefinite, the people learned resilience, unity, and innovation. Okay. And when we say present continuous, something past continuous, when it is ongoing, we say past continuous. Past continuous is the people were learning resilience. Okay, the people were learning resilience. Okay. Learning resilience, unity, and innovation. Okay. Now we have clear example. I don't see there is any reason that you don't understand. Okay. A past perfect continuous, that the people had been learning resilience. Okay. Past perfect, that they learned resilience. Okay. The when we know we learn about that this section is completed. Okay. When say the people had learned resilience, they had learned. Okay. But when we say we heard the, that this happened like once, okay, then we, when we were passing through, we found out that they people learned resilience, unity, and innovation. Okay. And when I was going there and I was passing through that town, they were learning, they were experiencing the problem. Therefore, we can say the people were learning resilience, unity, and innovation. Okay. That is, and then if we in the end, if we say the same sentence, okay, if we say uh, the same sentence, if we say the same sentence in, if we say the same sentence, past perfect continuous, the people have been, okay, have been learning resilience, then it present, become present perfect, present perfect continuous. It becomes present perfect. They have been learning resilience, unity, and innovation. Hope you understand, or hope you understood as well. Okay. And yeah, it is challenging. It is challenging as well. I understand that. But with practice, you can do that. It's not rocket science. Any question you want to ask me, you can ask me, please.